Hello, and I hope we're all doing well. Welcome back to more CSGO news. I hope you guys all enjoyed this video all around a team out there run by a Spanish organization and actually released a couple days ago by that same organization known as Team Queso for apparently throwing a match. I'll give you guys details as well as show you the clips, and you guys can give your thoughts down below as to what you think about this, because it is very particular when we talk about match throwing / match fixing, because of course most recent comparisons you have the Nox Fire League, you have Unicorns of Love, and then the most notoriously you have iBuyPower, and I want to really compare the punishments out there given to many teams, because this Team Queso, although you might not know about them, they are actually very popular on social media, and this team has now been released for apparently throwing a match just a couple days ago in the LVP, or the Spanish Superliga. I'll show you guys a few clips here, and you guys can give me your thoughts down below as to whether or not you think they were actually throwing this game.
Aguantando aquí en el ángulo corto, cae la flash, acaba con uno, el segundo se le resiste, ha localizado a los dos jugadores, de nuevo los corren, por el medio llega Sausol. Albert que pega la primera, acaba con Skarx y localiza en el punto, le vienen por larga, le vienen por CT, pantalla de humo, cruzan ahora los jugadores, los ha localizado, Sausol con uno, se queda solo Java, es un 1 para 2, tira la flash rebotada, asoma y dispara la bomba por si la quisiera recoger mientras Sarki le viene pusheando, recoge la Deagle de uno de sus compañeros y ahora mismo localizan a Java, Java se da la vuelta, acaba con Sausol. Recoge la Deagle de uno de sus compañeros y ahora mismo localizan a Java. Java se da la vuelta, acaba con Sausol. No me lo puedo creer. Le tira la flash, le asoma, le tradea, se agacha, le gana tiempo, 31 segundos por delante. Localiza al jugador.
No entiendo.
Asoma de nuevo, sinceramente, es que no.
Esto no tiene sentido.
No tiene sentido. No tiene sentido. Claro, lo siento mucho, pero es que...
Sí, yo lo siento por los televidentes, porque la verdad que castear este partido...
Sí, o sea, mira, sinceramente, no sé qué decirte, o sea... Creo... Sinceramente, te digo...
And so yes, the clips do seem quite obvious, the way they were playing, and of course the way they seem to not be listening to any communication, the callouts their teammates should be making, which led to their deaths, and eventually the 16-14 loss. And after this game as well, it did come out by several players themselves, their apologies about the way they played this game, and the organization did announce through HLTV they released the entire roster because of this single match throw. This match was not for money, it was a single league match, and apparently them having fun and not wanting to, I guess, play to the full potential they could, results in the organization dropping the entire roster, which I do somewhat agree with. When it comes time to look at other teams out there who have done these kind of acts, I look directly at Unicorns of Love. During the Nox Fire League, they blatantly threw a match. They also lost this same match 16-14, and you guys can see themselves actually doing team kills, which you would never do. I understand of course, some people think, oh, he needed the weapon to be dropped to him. Then you ask your teammate to drop you the weapon. You never kill your teammate on purpose. It is totally against what the purpose of CSGO is.
Что это, ёпта?
And so when that clip first surfaced, I made a video about that. I said Unicorns of Love should certainly respond about this, because you never want to sign guys in the pro scene who are not playing to their full potential. If they're joking around and making a joke of your name as well as just throwing games in general, that's not what you're signed for, right? As a pro player, there are many players and people out there who would die to be in your place as a pro player signed to an organization. And so I would have liked to see some sort of punishment from Unicorns of Love. They never responded about that, the blatant throwing of that game. But now we have Team Queso not only responding, they take the very extreme route of dropping the roster entirely. And so I can see the back and forth, right? And especially when we look at the player responses from a couple of the guys on the roster themselves, they have now come forward and admitted to trolling the game. They admitted to throwing the game as well, having some fun, not really hiding themselves. Lack of translation, of course, from Spanish or Portuguese into English, of course, that lack of translation there. So it did seem that they openly admitted to trolling and not having their full potential being given out in that game as well. And now they are jobless. On top of that, I think further statements should be coming from these players. And luckily enough, though, there were no odd bets or odd amounts of bets being placed in this match found by the ESIC. That's the Esports Integrity Coalition. They've actually been involved several times in the past. Most recently, though, with the Forsaken case when he was given his 5-year ban, that was by the ESIC. They've been involved here as well, and they denied the fact that match fixing was at hand, and that was so lucky. If we look back to the most notorious case of iBuyPower, of course, throwing that game has now resulted in a lifetime permanent ban by Valve, and luckily enough, it's now the ESIC giving these players a 7-day ban. That is it for match throwing. Yes, they threw the match. Did they fix the match though for an amount of money? Luckily, no bets were found, but even if someone out there had randomly bet a strange amount on this match, it could have been even as little as you could probably guess, maybe $1,000, maybe a couple $1,000 on this very little match out there. These players could have been screwed over immensely just by one single act they made. And so to me, ultimately, it kind of draws the question, what is the ultimate ruling on this? Obviously, it seems there's no synonymous ruling across all of the platforms because it comes down to what the organization is really willing to do. Now, iBuyPower did not really have a cause for anything or a case for anything because it was blatant that they were match fixing, but when it comes down to Unicorns of Love and any participants in the Noxfire League, where we have seen several seemingly throws and potential cheaters out there, and Unicorns of Love, that blatant clip we showed you guys, they chose to not act and actually, of course, punish their team, which is a bit weird because then the ESIC steps in for this case when it comes to Team Queso, who did similarly in the same fashion. They lost their game 16-14. Both teams obviously in some way were throwing those matches, but one team gets a 7-day ban, they lose their jobs. Meanwhile, Unicorns of Love, they keep their jobs and have no 7-day ban whatsoever. So obviously no universal ruling right now for match throwing, and now you have the iBuyPower players kind of rolling over in their grave and thinking, wow, I really wish no one had bet on those matches. But again, obviously they knew that was going to happen. That's why they did it. But either way, a kind of interesting story out there. Really curious what you guys think about this. What should have been done in this case? I say case, and it's kind of ironic that it's Team Queso. Stupid. I'm really curious what you guys think. What would you do if your organization, your players had done this? They threw a single match in a league for not money. This match was not for money. Ultimately, it might have been, but either way, a single match they threw, trying to have fun, trying to troll. What would you as an organizational leader do? Would you drop your entire roster? Would you punish them in some way? Would you fine them? Would you just, would you do nothing like Unicorns of Love did? Let me know your comments down below. I hope you guys all enjoy though. My name is Jake. I'll be back here sometime soon with more esports news because today is a very, very fateful day, not only for FaZe Clan, not only for Optic Gaming, but other organizations out there. So much news going on this week, and thank you all for stopping by here to get that news. As always, I hope you guys all take care. I will see you back here very soon. Drink your coffee, drink your water, and bye.